we sold our house and shop in a nice comfortable area and bought a bunch of land that has no structures on it. Therefore, we had to put everything in a shipping container, a Connex, and just pile everything in. This is a jigsaw puzzle, a Tetris puzzle that is very, very compact. There's a slight little walkway through there. But the point of this video is to walk through and take a glance at all of the cast iron surfaces and tell you what I've been doing to hopefully protect them a little bit. And what I've been doing is just this, WD-40. You guys have already used this stuff before in your life, most likely. I think just about everyone in their life has used WD-40 and duct tape. All right, so I'm not going crazy with some type of, you know, wax this or carbon coating or anything like that. Just regular WD-40 because it drives out moisture. That's all I want to do. I just want to drive out the moisture away from these surfaces. So every time I come in here, I've already done it, so I'm not going to go crazy here, but every time I come in here, I just give everything a good spray, even the straps that are touching. So these are nice and saturated. Make sure they're nice and saturated underneath. And am I having a rust problem? No, I'm not. This is working. I live in a very, very humid and hot area, Mississippi. Very, very humid here where I live. And this seems to be working out quite well inside of a shipping container, which is a place that everyone said I'm going to have. Not everybody. A lot of people express their concern about moisture issues in here and rust on my cast iron tools. So as far as this jointer is concerned, I'm going to try and, I don't know if the GoPro is picking it up, but I'm going to try and move my head to where I can see it. But I've got some fingerprints right here, here, and here, and here. And also some fingerprints here, here, and here that I noticed after we put it in, like immediately when we put it in, that during the move, I had some surface rust right here. So those have not accelerated as far as I can tell. This line right here, hopefully it's showing up. There's a scratch line there and there. That was long term. That was from a long time ago. I haven't taken the time to sand it down and whatever. That's so small, just spray it, that's fine. And then over here there's a little bit of surface rust that was again already there, that it seems like this is kind of breaking it up. Loosens rusted parts. Okay, well that makes sense, because this surface rust kind of looks like, again, I knew that this was there. It kind of looks like it's starting to wave up with the with the heavy coating of WD-40. So there's that. Nothing else is new. All of these little dots you see, most of those are just small little itty bitty bugs, which, you know, we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so bugs exist, right? This jointer is heavy. It's one of the heaviest things that I put in there. It is the heaviest thing that I put in there. It's also the widest, and I could only move it with tractor forks perpendicular to the length of it. So I could not set it in there and move it sideways so it's up against the wall. There's just, I can't twist it while it's inside the Connex. So that means that I was forced to put this thing in last, which means every time I need to take something out, I have to remove this, which means it's not convenient. If it's not convenient, you're not going to do it. So we haven't really gotten anything out of there. We have to climb underneath here or crawl underneath there to go through the back, and that's what I'm going to do. But I'm losing light as I go in there. There's no electricity, so I'm going to rely on this little dude, my Streamlight flashlight. This, I mean, if there's ever a recommendation of something that I use all the time, as it's evident by all the wear and tear on this thing, it's this little flashlight. It is USB rechargeable, so it's like a little cell phone charger charges this up, and it lasts quite a while. There's two light settings, dim, and then if you click it again, it's bright. Really, really handy. But the most handy thing is this two-sided clip. You can clip it normally, like on my belt, or I can clip it on the front of my hat with this one down here, and then I have a hat light as I'm walking around. It's on my hat. So huge thumbs up. I'll put a link to this down in the description. Check it out if you're interested. But I'm going to use it in here. So let's climb underneath the jointer wing, and I can show you all of my stuff. Basically, how we packed it all up. I'm going to grab this can of WD-40 and spray while I'm in here. I've got my dust collector bin. I kept the dust collector on its stand and then just ratchet strapped the stand to the pallet so I could move this entire pallet at once. That was handy. I thought I'd have to take all that apart, but no, I didn't. Super, super handy. All right, these shipping container crates that I made, they've been handy for storage, but I planned on being able to access one for the tools that I wanted to be able to access. As you can tell, that hasn't happened just because it's not convenient. I'd have to pull out way too much stuff just to get into one of these. I simply haven't done it. So let me turn the flashlight on. This is my wife's laser engraver right here that she deeply misses. I wish I could get this out, but again, so much stuff in the way. My clock that I made that a lot of people said would blow up on me or fall apart or crack or get destroyed because I did break a lot of rules with wood movement. I'll admit that, right? I did not allow a lot of room for wood movement, but it was kind of an experiment to see if it would hold up. And so far it's held up in our house for a couple of years, and a year or two. I don't know how long actually. And also it's been 2.5 months in the shipping container and it's still there. So there's that. All of my dust collection pipes and such, all of those stacked vertically in one of these shipping container bins that I created, and that worked out quite well. And then my table saw over here is piled with stuff on top, but we sprayed the, I don't know if the lower light is helping or not, or the higher light. Anyway, we sprayed the top of the table saw surface. It's hard to see under here because I have a piece of foam to protect all the other crap that I put down on top, or protect the surface from all the other stuff. I don't know if it's showing up at all, but there's no noticeable surface rust damage on any of that. I am going to spray this while I'm here. Whoops. I am going to spray this just because it's not going to hurt anything. I don't think it will anyway. Especially these straps. I always spray these straps quite a bit, best I can, because that's fabric, so it might hold moisture. I don't know. But there you go. That wasn't the best job, but it is what it is. I gotta squeeze through this little gap right here, but this is my daughter's workbench. I am looking forward to her being able to use it again. My bandsaw is to my right. Oh, here's a fun project. So this is a step stool I made back at the apartment complex, so 2013-ish. And this is before I found any hardwood sources near me, so I would do a lot of trash to treasure stuff. If I'm not mistaken, all of these pieces of poplar came out of a box spring mattress. So I still have original staple holes in here from the box spring. It was one of my very first pocket hole projects. I pocket holed this all together, and it's still a very, very useful project from years and years ago. So there's that. All right, let's turn around. This is the Laguna 18BX bandsaw. It already had some surface rust on here when I put it in here. This is me messing around on the surface rust one of the first times I put it in here. So there was a little bit of a hole and a streak that went through here. Not a hole, but there was a spot about this big. Let me make a new circle here if you can actually see it or not. I'm not sure. But about that big when we first came here from the previous shop. So that's how much rust was there. And then it streaked this way, which you can kind of see it this way. But since I've been spraying this on here, spraying the WD-40, it loosened it all up. So I noticed it one of the previous times I checked in on the machines. And yeah, it loosened that rust up. So this surface rust from the previous shop. There's also some over here inside the miter slot. That was from the previous shop. And this little surface rust right there from the humidity, that was in the previous shop. So I think what I'm seeing is I don't see any new rust, but I'm also seeing that this stuff, you know, it says on the can, loosens rusted parts. So removes and protects. So it's doing a good job, I think, of removing that little surface rust that was there, or loosening it up, breaking it up, whatever. But every time I come in here, which isn't often, I just spray everything down. It's not going to hurt anything. Just spray it all down. So The Laguna bandsaw, I don't see any noticeable change. This is the Hammer HS 950 sander, and same scenario. I have a little bit of surface rust there. That was from the previous shop, and it looks like there was some little surface rust, nothing major here, that the WD-40 is starting to pool and take it all back to that corner. So not really noticing anything. Not noticing anything new or anything crazy, but I am spraying it down every time I come in here. The Oliver planer, it always had a bunch of fingerprints on it. I remember that. And if I hold this on a slight angle, I'm not sure if you're going to see all the fingerprints on there, but I remember those from the previous shop. I also remember this streak right here. I ran a panel through that had some wet glue, apparently. That's the only thing I can think of how that happened. And that surface streaking rust line was there previously, but I haven't messed with it. I'm sure if I wiggle my finger over it, it'll pull it up a little bit. Yeah, it looks like it's pulling it up. So no major negative changes on it. So some people kind of scared me into thinking that this was going to make all of my machines, just this shipping container, the Connex, just make all of my machines full of rust and all kinds of problems. And I was a little concerned about that, but it doesn't look like it. Oh, there is some rust that's new. Yeah, surface rust on these posts. That's new. That wasn't there. Okay. But I also don't recall spraying these much at all. And here's something they can take into consideration, right? I'm spraying these on horizontal surfaces, so it's kind of staying there. I probably did spray these, but they're vertical surfaces, so it's all dripping away. Something to take into consideration for sure. No big deal though, these are just posts. It's not really going to affect anything. Extra oil on metal parts. So long as you don't have wood sliding across it constantly, it's not that bad. And this is the Grizzly bandsaw, and to be honest with you, I can't tell from this distance. I know that it had a bunch of deep pitted rust from when I restored it, but I can't tell much of a distance from this. I can't tell much of a difference from this distance. So I'll just go ahead and try not to spray what's behind it. But we'll call that good. Now, I think I've lost a few pounds in sweat since I've been in here, so I'm going to get out. Overall, I think this is doing a pretty darn adequate job. I didn't take any crazy before and after measurements. Ouch, before measurements. So I can't be for sure if, like, you know, it's not 100% effective. But just from what I've observed and from what I remember, I do think that this is doing a really good job of knocking down the rust, or preventing the rust rather. Let me get out of this container. Oh, what I would be what I would give to be a kid again. All right, so there's just a quick follow-up. WD-40 seems to be doing a good job keeping rust at bay. And there's a really noisy truck driving by. But there's that. So hopefully that helps. WD-40 seems to be doing a good job. You guys take care. Have a great day. I'll talk to you in the next video.